Hey, what is up everyone? Kilrian here bringing you another video, and this time, something a little bit different. Normally, all of you are aware that I played Black Desert in the past, as well as a lot of Terra, and mostly Eastern MMOs. Recently, we actually had the introduction of Black Desert Mobile, which in my opinion has been groundbreaking for the actual cell phone game scene as a whole. It feels amazing, it looks amazing, and I just wanted to give my first impressions and overall thoughts of the game. The couple things that I want to talk about today, just going to give you all a little bit of an overview. We're going to take a look at a little bit of gameplay and just how the game feels as a whole. I'm going to talk a little bit about the autoplay and just convenience factor of it. I'm going to address the fact that if it's, or the big question a lot of people have with cell phone games, free to play versus pay to win. We'll go into a bit of detail about that, and just overall, I want to show kind of the variety of content that is available with it and give you an idea of just where everything stands. Up front, I'm going to say Black Desert Mobile has been eye-opening for what is possible whenever it comes to cell phone games. So, without further ado, let's take a look. First and foremost, I want to take a look at the overall gameplay and fluidity. As you can kind of see in the background of me just playing the game or having it autoplay in the background, it is stunning. The overall game feels exactly as normal Black Desert does. The graphics are just literally amazing. Like, if you actually take a look at the character, and I'll zoom in a little bit here, it just looks astonishing. The overall game feels and combos and the overall game style of traditional Black Desert, where you're farming a lot of mobs, a lot of high density spell effects, everything along those lines is exactly as it was with Black Desert. And this was the first thing that kind of stood out to me as far as a mobile game. Nothing I've ever played before in the past have even come close, have even scratched the surface of what Black Desert Mobile has. And so this was kind of the first thing that caught my eye and made me go yeah, sure, I will try that game. And then it just kind of developed into so much more than just a run-of-the-mill mobile game. One of the key features whenever it comes to Black Desert Mobile is the autoplay function. Many people who have played other cell phone games in the past or mobile games in the past know that the autoplay is a big factor. One thing that's super impressive, though, about Black Desert Mobile's autoplay is, well, it works. A lot of times, whenever you think of, okay, autoplay means it's going to make, really, really stupid decisions, it's not going to combo correctly, your character's just going to get killed because you're autoplaying, isn't typically the case with this. Automatically using potions, automatically doing certain skill chains, all of that is built into the autoplay functionality. But keep in mind, for most content that is more top of the line, more big brain content, like doing bosses, doing guild events, playing arena, things like that require you to not be autoplaying. You can run it, but it probably will get you killed. Autoplay functionality allows you to grind and be productive for what you would expect of a mobile game whenever you are unable to, put your full attention into it. And Black Desert's mobile has kind of astonished me with that functionality as a whole. It gives you that constant sense of every time that you put the phone down for an hour, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be open, but you can put the phone down for an hour, let it grind in the meantime, you open it up, awesome, you got some loot, you can turn around, make some money off of that. And this is one of the key things that, as long as you are a player who's being conscious and making sure that you are having the game basically be doing something productive, just like normal Black Desert, you will come out ahead. You will be able to be able to compete with a lot of players. You can be in the upper echelon as long as you maintain the being productive basically on the game with the autoplay function. It really is impressive, and overall it hasn't really inhibited my concept of the game in any way, shape, or form. One of the biggest concerns for anyone playing a mobile game is the concept of free-to-play versus pay-to-win. Now, overall, where the game stands, I do believe it is very free to play friendly, due to the function of like the autoplay, as I kind of mentioned prior, and just the overall style in which the game plays. Now, being upfront, a person who spends a lot of money, and I'm not talking like, oh yeah, I spend $20 every 2 weeks type deal, or like $100 every 3 months. Those players are not going to be far ahead at all compared to a completely free to play player. I'm talking the whales, like the people who are willing to invest thousands of dollars every 2 weeks or whatever to get that kind of advantage. They innately are going to be ahead of the curve. But the key to like kind of viewing or playing a game which has that flavor to it is, as a free to play player, which I'm at this point a baby goldfish. I've dropped $25 into the game, but viewing myself and not comparing myself to the people who are willing to like hard swipe is kind of a key thing. And I have had experienced pretty good success in terms of like my overall gear score and everything like that compared to these players. There are people who are actually in the top 100 players, like the top 100 rankings, who are completely free to play. So it is entirely possible to be a competitive player, and you're going to be with most of the player base by playing completely free to play. So that's kind of one thing that I wanted to address. I'll point out a couple of things here. Like, for example, if you are a person who's willing to spend money in the game, you can get these boxes which make it to where you get 200,000 silver every day. 200,000 silver is not a lot at all. You get that for basically 20 minutes of grinding, at least at the kind of higher levels where I'm at. And then you have different things which allow you to have or get a couple more like armor stones and black stones to enhance your gear, which is pure RNG to begin with, as classic Black Desert fashion is. So realistically, if you have a concern of pay to win versus like free to play, honestly, in my experience of playing the game for a week and a half at this point, it is still very free to play friendly. Now that we've gotten over the taboo subject of free to play versus pay to win, I want to talk a little bit about the content that is available within Black Desert Mobile. So the big things here, whenever it comes to quote unquote content, is there's something for everyone. As normal Black Desert, you have people who are life skillers. You have people who do like arenas, who do like Red Battlefield all the time. You have people who do like open world PvP. You have world bosses that spawn that you actually end up going to, though it's like in an instance scenario. You have 1v1 arena as well as 3v3 battlegrounds, or like miniature battlegrounds. And this game has real content, which is kind of surprising a lot of times. Normally you see like most mobile games will say like, oh, we're gonna have like 1v1 arenas coming in like a 6-month roadmap once everyone spends $200 million. But this game launched with a ton. You have your 1v1 arenas, which are very quick, and it is on like a rating scale. You have these 3v3 battlegrounds, which are very quick. They run like 4 to 5 minutes, which is awesome because it's like you go on break, you pull out the phone, you had it AFK grinding for you, and now you can do a couple of arenas, which are actually really fun, and you can even like organize it to do like kind of competitive 3v3. You have your world boss spawn that you want to make sure, which is Kazarka, as well as Hexmary, spawning throughout like the week or daily, right, that you go to, and it's like a full boss fight where you see 9 or 10 other players that you're kind of having to dodge all the skills and avoid and everything like that. You have the traditional grinding, as you've been seeing throughout the video, of just constantly killing lots and lots of mobs, seeing treasure chests spawn. You actually have nodes, just like you have in traditional Black Desert. You can go into a node-based system and send your workers to gather passive income for you. You have like your actual just home base, basically your home base, which you're periodically upgrading and just managing of your workers. The overall game itself is pretty awesome. You have bosses that you can do, and these are all the classic bosses of Red Nose, Dastard Beg, Garuka, I forget their names, but all the bosses, and they have these same animations. So those who played Black Desert prior actually like you'll see and be like, oh crap, he's about to do this move, which that kind of information translating over feels really really rewarding for anyone who's played Black Desert in the past. And this kind of content that you have, where you have the mix of group content, solo content, and like large group content, is just really really astonishing. The fact that this came out all in one piece. A lot of times whenever you're dealing with other mobile games, you end up seeing like, don't worry guys, here's our 6-month roadmap where you're going to get 1v1s in 6 months after everyone spends $200 million on the game. But this just launched with literally a full game title worth of content to do. And it's not something where it's like, oh man, every day I need to just go log in and go do XYZ daily and then log off. It's a full game that you can consistently play, and I've just had a really good time with it as a whole. Getting into the overall final thoughts I have for Black Desert Mobile, if you haven't kind of already found out, I think the game is really solid. I think that it has a perfect balance, or not perfect, but a good balance whenever it comes to like the free-to-play aspect of it. I think that the amount of content that you can do and treat this as like a full-fledged game is amazing. I think the graphics and just overall gameplay are literally groundbreaking compared to every single other cell phone game that I've ever played in the past. And just the game as a whole is 100% worth trying. I think anyone who has a cell phone who can run the game, at a decent level, which you don't need a ton. I mean, I have a Galaxy S9, so it's not like the newest phone or anything like that. And I've played it both on the phone and on an emulator on BlueStacks on my computer, both of which run great, like perfect. And I play it on max settings on both situations. So even if you have kind of like a lesser phone, you can still totally get away with playing the game, in my opinion. And so, as a whole, download the game. Give it a try. Flame me in the comments if you're like, this is the most pay-to-win shit I've ever seen. My class sucks. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever it may be. You can flame me all you want, but this is just kind of my first impressions of it. I do plan on making a couple more videos kind of talking about the overall gearing process, where I go to actually make silver, and just kind of my usual routine or play style with the game. But thank you all for, staying subscribed to my channel, even though I've been Mia for more than a couple of months. And I hope that, y'all continue to support me in doing what I do. But thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.